You're now tuned in to The Twisted Truth with Corey Wesley, where everyday conversations take an unexpected turn. Entrepreneur, artist, author, and truth seeker, Corey Wesley is here to challenge the way we think, question the norms, and bring fresh perspectives to life, business, and beyond. With unfiltered discussions, special guests, and real talk, get ready for a show that's bold, insightful, and always a little twisted. Buckle up, because the truth isn't always what it seems. And now, here's your host, Corey Wesley. Hi, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Welcome to another episode of The Twisted Truth with me, Corey Wesley. I know it's been a minute. I went on vacation. I went to Vegas. I had a really good time. And then I was a little, I guess, like they have writer's block. I had podcast block. I didn't really know what to talk about. And it's June. It's Gay Pride Month. I want to say Happy Gay Pride to those out there. And I started to think about safety. Safety, what that means, because a lot of people right now out here in our political climate and things seem a little unsure. And I've had personal things happen to me in my life, like someone falsely accused me of something, and literally I had to turn myself in if a case was dropped. But the person was vindictive and wanted, because it didn't go their way as far as me being interested, and they took it where they had to create a lie to hurt me, and they basically said some racial things and caused me to isolate myself and change how I do things. And I wanted to kind of share some safety net things for people that if you're hooking up online, it is a scary thing. And obviously, unfortunately, this is the way we meet people now. And so when it comes to safety, I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to kind of share with you some things. Like, if you're hooking up online and you're going to meet someone, I always say, one, write the address down at your home. If you're going to their home, right? Write their address down. I personally, you put your address on a piece of paper. When you take an Uber, so you have a documentation, I feel like those are easy. Yes, if you can afford it. If you're taking a train, just document what time you left your home on a piece of paper. Or if there's a friend that, because obviously you dipping and dabbing, you don't need everyone to know your personal business. But if you choose one friend, at least let them know, hey, this is the address I'm going to, or share your ride if you're using Uber, or if you have to take public transportation. I always say, when you get to the location, take a picture of yourself outside of the location, even obviously the building, okay, and send it to a friend, because what that does is it gives a timestamp. God forbid if something happened, you go missing, there's a backtrack where people can find you or try to locate your steps, because I think we don't think sometimes. We're horny little boys and girls, and sometimes we don't think about these things. And I've always done that, is you take a picture of the location outside the building before you ring that buzzer or go into that doorman building. And always, I try to get a person's last name. I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but if the person does not want to give you their last name, no. And what I usually do too, for safety reasons, you have to text me with that phone number, and I need to, and yes, there are Google numbers and stuff. You can tell if it's a Google number. I usually try to get a person's name if they, text me. I kind of Google it to see if they give me their address. I kind of go and Google and see who lives at the address. You can do that. You can Google and put who lives at this address, put the apartment number. Obviously, people will lie and say they ain't got boyfriends and stuff. You can find it, see if they have roommates or whatever, all that stuff. At least you have some context. I say don't go into these things blindly. Now, obviously, if you're out and about and you're meeting someone and you're out by yourself, right? Well, again, I would always let a friend know, hey, I met someone, I'm going to their place. This is the address I'm at. Um, Make sure that, and you tell the person, hey, I need to send somebody where I'm going to be. What is your address? What is your name? If they don't want to give it to you, then I wouldn't be going nowhere with that person. Okay. Obviously, you know, I'm a person about the booty call. I'm not somebody's booty call. Okay. So most people, if you share your number and then you don't hook up and then they're texting you 3 in the morning, those are the opportunities. I always say there are times that if I was on an app or something and I wanted to, share or whatever with someone, my number, would use a Google number just so if I'm not going to hook up with them right away. And then if I make plans with them, I will give my real number, just so that it's legitimate, but I give the Google voice number if I have no intentions of really hooking up that day or not, in the past, because what I wanted to do is maybe see how that person responds, because sometimes, people go through their Rolodex at 3 in the morning. I don't want them texting me at 3 in the morning. So that call doesn't wake me up or whatever. Some people just don't think. So in that regard, I always say if you're having someone at your location, let someone know that you're having a company, or send the person, your friend, that person's cell phone number, and their name. And again, you got to do your own research before that person comes over. People always say, well, which one is better? I think you're safer in your own home, but obviously people have roommates and things of that nature. So sometimes it's not easy or applicable to, give out certain information. I understand, but I believe that anyone who is so secretive about who they are, there's a reason. And if they're not willing to understand safety and protection, you gotta um, question it, be suspicious. If somebody doesn't want to give me their full name, and I have always, and then I don't allow block numbers to come into my phone, so they have to unblock their number, and that's another way of getting a person's name if they don't give it to you. So at least you have someone's full name. Sometimes I want to ask people for an ID, to make sure they are who they are. I have in my past, I'm sorry to say, but I have asked people, can I have their ID so I can see what their name and address, because sometimes they're coming to you, but you don't know where they live. You don't know anything about them. And that they are a thief, if they hurt you and then they leave, you have no documentation of who that person is. So I just think that you should be careful. If you are participating in any partying and things like that, I just for your own protection, bring your own stuff if that's the case. If not, get it from your trusted contacts. I don't promote that, but if you are going to do it, be smart about it. Things of that nature. If anyone is, don't allow people to. There's one thing, if you're hosting, don't let people take their bags into your bathroom, and because you don't know what they're taking, you don't know what they're doing. They could be injecting drugs or whatever in the bathroom, and you may not be aware of it. So what I often do or have done is tell people they can't take their bags into the bathroom. It's just a safety thing. People got to understand you're protecting yourself. If they feel like you're being overly suspicious or concerned, or a little like over the top with it. Transgender people get missing, people get hurt, people get falsely accused for many things. And I always say, you gotta have an open heart, but you can't always trust everyone in your meeting that you don't know anything about them. So you have to protect yourself. Um, you know, things like that. Personally would never do groups and things like that. So don't, if you're gonna have multiple people in a house, make sure you're understanding who's in your home for that. Um, because you want to just make sure you're safe. I am a recovery coach. So in New York, get, um, you can order, um, these safety kits for drug addiction or whatever. So if somebody's overdosing, there's I think it's a nasal thing. I have some in the closet because you never know what someone's on or whatever. That you just want to make sure that you have some protection because you don't know these people and you don't know what they're doing before they got to your home. So just be careful of that. Make sure that when you're leaving, that let someone know that you have left that location. Also because it's protecting that other person because they don't want to be accused and say, oh, if you go visit, you might have went somewhere else. You should always leave like electronic trail. I always say pictures are worth 1,000, and taking a picture of your next location, I think is great, even if, you're doing these selfies and they upload into Google automatically, at least God forbid, if anything happens, someone can trace. I know this sounds really crazy that you have to think about these things, but it's really important nowadays. And I know this has nothing to do with it, but with immigration stuff and the government and stuff that's going on in the world, you want to protect yourself. Make sure you have your ID. Do not go outside without your ID. And when you're going to someone's house, don't wear your jewelry. Don't do all that stuff. Don't don't be flashy. Just kind of tone down. Make sure you have some extra cash. Um, and make sure your phone is charged. Always charge your phone. Things of that nature. Just pay attention to people's behaviors. Because this is gay pride and I know we want to have fun and all that good stuff. But I think based on my own personal experiences, it's always just to protect yourself. And that's why in the past when I was hooking up or whatever, I would take an Uber, a trusted friend where they don't have to ask any questions. They just knew when they got a share of my Uber location or ride at 2 a.m. They know what's happening. They don't have to ask any questions, but they know where I went. They know I took a picture. They know I was safely. When I'm leaving, they get a share that I'm already on my way home. So it's all these little things that we don't think about when we horny. So I just wanted to stop in and share and say happy pride. I want everyone to be safe. And I just thought it would be useful to kind of throw these things out there just so that you give you food for thought, as my mother would always say, food for thought. Okay. So have a great pride. Be safe out there. Um, have all the sex, fun, all you want, but just be smart about it. Okay, as I used to say, date smart, date for success. Well, hook up for success, but protect yourself because it's a little dangerous out here. And I don't know, just be careful and watch your back and just, I know you might be excited to be hooking up with someone, but just make sure that you put in place things. I say breadcrumbs. Everybody don't need to know that you are a slut, but it's nice to know that you've protected yourself and the person that you're hooking up with knows that you're protecting them as well as you're protecting yourself. And so that you can have an enjoyable hookup and pride season. Remember to stay blessed because you are already blessed. And remember to like, subscribe, and tell a friend about the Twisted Truth podcast with me, Corey Wesley. Remember to trust your gut because your gut will never lead you in the wrong direction. Have a good day.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Twisted Truth with Corey Wesley. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with someone who needs a fresh perspective. Remember to stay curious, stay bold, and always remember this: the truth isn't always what it seems. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep twisting the truth. See you soon.